Right, with us this morning we've got James Tedford, who's a very relieved man, I think. I think you had a baptism of fire when you started in November. As your first game was the biggest crowd we've ever had here at the Merseyrail Community Stadium.
Yep.
And now, these last few weeks, I could probably surpass that, James, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely with the pitch project, and I think it's important that we give an update to everybody exactly what the pitch project is going to entail. I think it's important to stress that the project and the funding doesn't only cover the pitch, it covers the toilets as well. The external toilets, both ends of the main stand, which we're sat in just now, and the Jack car. As of Good Friday, we went to play Cousin Ashton. All we really had at that point was a letter of funding from the Football Foundation. We had no other works had been done in terms of getting the project over the line. So Ian had approached me and asked if it was something that I wanted to look at, and he would assist.
Was there a choice in that, Matt?
No, it's basically you can get on with this and make it happen. We also then had, I had to speak to some sort of prominent volunteers here at the club to see if they would take on a part of my sort of remit, telling me to do that. As I stated on Twitter a couple of days ago, Christine was sort of massive in doing that and taking on a large part of my remit. We brought two companies in to look at quoting for the job. MJ Abbott's gave us the most hope in being able to get the job over the line. The toilets aren't time critical, but the pitch is. We have a period of 3 months in which to complete it, and we would have liked those works to have commenced after the last home game that we had here, and that simply wasn't possible given the work that had gone into the project prior. We have received massive help from a lot of agencies. United Utilities have been fantastic. In Ian's last interview, he spoke about the drainage going into Fine James Brook. United Utilities have given us permission to discharge the water from the pitch into the chambers that we have at the Jack car stand.
Oh, right, yeah. So
that brings a massive saving, and it also means that everything stays within the blueprint of our stadium and not impeding on somebody else's land. Mm-hmm. So it's a thanks to Mark Dane, United Utilities. They were out here in 2 or 3 days and investigating that drain and making sure that we could discharge into the sewers. We then had an issue with the charge on the land. It's basically a mortgage that we're receiving from the Football Foundation, so they want to protect their investment. So we have to have a charge on that. That means that they basically surrender, or they take hold of our lease. Our lease originally dated here to 1974, so it has a lot of outdated legislation on it. We had to source our own copy of the lease, in which we couldn't do. We only had one that the council had. We reached out to former owners and former chairmen who were fantastic at giving us the copy of the lease that they held. Unfortunately, it was the same copy that we had.
The old one.
So the Suzanne Rimmer at Sefton Council, who's been instrumental in getting this over the line so quickly, suggested that we surrender the old lease, bring in a new lease, and that will then ultimately allow us to put a charge in place. Mm-hmm. Now we can't withdraw money draw down money from the foundation until we have all that in place. So Ian Kyle is very generously, he's put the money up front for the whole pitch project. The council have given us letters of comfort to say, letters of understanding that they will give us the new lease and that there will be a charge able to be put on the land, and then we can then start drawing down that money. So that gives us a 12 months period when we start drawing down to have the full project pitch and toilets.
Good. And the actual work that's going to take place, and what's the actual period of time it's actually going to happen? Okay,
so the works process that we have here will take up to about 12 weeks in total. So it's tight. It is tight, but we always knew that, and that's why it was so important that we could get this project over the line. Yeah. To give you an idea, speaking to Abbott's and the Football Foundation, from a funding point, when you're given funding, it's usually 6 months to get us to this stage. Mm-hmm. We've done it in 20 working days. And again, massive thanks to all the multi-agency involvement who have managed to get us to that stage. The first 4 weeks will be managed by MG Abbott's, and that's the construction stage, and that breaks into 4 stages. Stage 1 is to remove 20 to 25 mil of the topsoil that we see here, and start to regrade the levels through no fault other than time and people trying to repair the pitches as the season's going on. We have a lot of peaks and troughs on the pitch, and we have to get that back to a flat surface. Stage 2 will be to implement primary and secondary drainage, as well as put a land drain all the way around the outside of the pitch. All the paddocks that we have here slope down into the grass, so we need to make sure that rain is caught before it then gets into the pitch. Stage 3 is irrigation, so it's going to be a 20 cube pumping station, a 20 cube per hour pumping station that will supply 26 sprinklers all over the pitch, and that will then allow us to get water on it, and which will enable the growth period. And stage 4 is 400 tonnes of sand being mixed into the soil that we have. It's a lot of sand, but that sand is there not to play on, but is to encourage the water to be drawn through into the drains. And that will include a bit of final cultivation, and then they'll put the grass on, and then we can sit and...
So the actual growing in period,
yeah,
that's going to take, once it's actually laid down the stab, that's going to take further time.
Yeah, so that is weather dependent. Ideally what we want is a perfectly dry 4 weeks, and the minute the seed goes in, we want the heavens to open up, and we want it to rain as much as possible for the next 8 weeks after that. We obviously have the irrigation, so we can put as much water on the pitch as we need to. But having learned a lot the last few weeks, we don't want the grass to grow up, we want it to grow down. So the weather, sort of natural weather, would help that, as opposed to the irrigation. That period which you allude to will be overseen by Everton and their pitch consultants.
They're actually supporting us with the actual pitch maintenance.
Yes, so they're going to oversee and sort of manage the work that we have here. David Harrison, Secretary at Everton, and Bob Lennon, the head groundsman at Goodison, been instrumental in getting us to this point, and making sure that once you put a pitch down, that it's then maintained to a very high standard, given the amount of money that we are putting into this. We have put out an advert for our own ground operative. That person will work under the auspices of Everton and under their instruction. Hence why it's mainly aimed at part-time, because it's not just that's the amount of time we're going to put into the pitch, that's part of the project on its own. And we will be putting out in the next couple of weeks an advert for volunteer divoters. It's one of the main focus of any pitch is to get it divoted immediately after a game. So we're looking for volunteers, obviously trained by Everton and our own ground operative, whoever that may be, to show them exactly how to do it. And it's maybe if there's 5-6 people, it will take us an hour after each game to get it done, and then we can start looking forward to the next game and maintain a high standard of pitch.
Good. And did you mention before that it's linked into the toilet somehow, all this? Is there some link into the work being done on the toilet?
Yeah, so the overall project is, the funding is for the pitch and the toilets. The toilets aren't time critical as much as the pitch is, but what I would stress is the minute we start drawing down funding for that, we have 12 months in which to complete the toilet. So priority number 1 is the pitch, and then we move straight onto the outside toilets.
Brilliant. Okay, anything else you would like to add at the moment? I'm sure you want to rest.
Yes, I mean the hard work starts. We have the machinery coming in today, and then it's all over to the contractors over the next 4 weeks to turn that into a fantastic playing surface. It's mainly about thanking Sefton Council, Everton, United Utilities, all the volunteers who have played a part in this. It's a massive undertaking in 20 days to get to this, and hopefully that's sort of partnerships that we can evolve over the next coming weeks and months.
Brilliant. Oh, well done. I think I've seen you stressed out at certain times. I think it's been fantastic. So well done, James.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.